Welcome to the Healing Light Wellness podcast, where we delve deep into the journey of personal transformation and healing. I'm your host, Charlene Smart, and today we're going to start a small series in which I share my personal healing journey with you. Now, in the past, I have alluded to my trauma many times, but have yet to share it with you. So, in today's episode, we're going to begin with an explanation of why. So not too long ago, it was brought to my attention that I referred to my trauma as healed. Yet it kind of appears as if I don't want to talk about it. You'll hear me refer to my trauma as past trauma. I have big trauma in my past, my childhood trauma, or simply trauma. But I never share it with you. I never share exactly what it is with you. And this has led to the question of, if I am unable to share what has happened to me, then is it really healed? Now, this is a fair point, okay? I can't lie. It is a fair point. But just like most things, for me, it is not as simple as that. In the past, I didn't want to talk, or even think about my trauma because of the amount of pain that it caused for me. And when I say pain, I am not just talking about physical pain, but the shame and the embarrassment were completely overwhelming to me. And then there was the fear, and the fear, it was always present. That was until I began to heal my trauma. But I know what it feels like to carry such a heavy burden. And I am worried about causing pain to somebody else by sharing what my trauma is. Now, our traumas are all different. Even if you and I experience the same trauma, we would have internalized it differently. Our experiences would have changed a little bit. But there is a good chance that no matter what your trauma is, it is wrapped in pain, which is exactly the opposite of what I want to cause, is more pain for you. So I have held back. I have been vague, and I have left it up to you to guess what my trauma is and if I really have healed from it or not. However, I have come to realize that, yes, my story may cause pain, but it may also be the lighthouse in someone else's storm. Because if I found freedom, then so can you. As we move forward in this series, I want you to know that I will be as gentle as I possibly can. But I am always here. And if you need to reach out to me, please do so. And in case along the way you get a little triggered, I have included a link to a free tapping meditation in the show notes that you can download to help you process and reduce any feelings you may be struggling with. Now, it may not seem like it, but I have spent many hours contemplating this very subject of my trauma. I've been writing and rewriting to find the right words, and I have come to a conclusion. There are none. There are no right words. Over the years, I have built this moment up in my life so greatly and to a point that I'm almost expecting to hear a drum roll as I chat with you. See, I knew a long time ago that my story was supposed to be told. Not for the sake of taking up space, and certainly not for having others feel sorry for me, but because I knew my story could and would help somebody else who has survived the same things I have. I know without a shadow of a doubt that if my story can help even one woman break free from her past, then it is worth sharing it with you. I am a survivor of sexual abuse by my father from a very young age. That's it. That's my trauma. I was sexually abused by one of the few people entrusted to care for me. Now, I have spent sorry. I have spent years buried under worry and stress thinking about this moment. Wow. It's not as if I haven't said this before or even shared this with others, but I honestly thought it would be much harder to share it with you and on such a large scale. But there's an interesting feeling inside of me right now. It's as if something has broke free and loose. And after spending so much time healing my past and stepping free from its hold, I didn't think I could feel more free, but I do. Wow. I am a survivor of sexual abuse. Wow. Have you ever experienced a moment when, man, you thought you were as healed as you were going to be, you were as free as you were going to be? And I've written this out and felt the same release as I wrote it earlier today. But I can't believe there's any more area in there for healing. But my friend being here with me, you've given me a gift. One final gift of freedom. So thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm sorry, I got off track there. But the key takeaway is that I am a survivor. I'm a survivor, and I've always been a survivor. But the survivor in me looks different now than it did years ago. And let's be honest, it looks different now than it did 5 minutes ago, which is amazing and awesome. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, I struggled with embarrassment and shame, which honestly kept me hidden from the world, or I tried to keep myself hidden from the world. And it controlled not only how I saw myself, but how I saw the world around me and the people around me. I spent most of my life hoping that people would not notice the stain that I carried with me. I lived in fear of what the world would think of me if they knew. Whether it was my friends, their parents, and even my own family. No matter my age, I was what had been done to me. At the age of 36, I had a friend, which maybe shouldn't seem that shocking. However, it's not as if I didn't have acquaintances or people that I knew, but a friend was something new to me, even at 36. As you might imagine, I was much more focused on keeping people out than letting them in. However, Kelly wormed her way in, and before I knew it, she was closer to me than most. So much so that we would get together Sunday mornings at the pool and let the kids play together. Now, I knew if her and I were to remain friends, real friends, I had to share what I was. Huh. Yes, I just used those words. What I was. And in that moment, it had nothing to do with me being a survivor. So, as I have this thought rattling around in my head of how best to share this with Kelly, I had remembered that previously, not too long before this, I was required to write a creative nonfiction story for a course I was taking. And wouldn't you know it, I chose to write about the passing of my father, and it included a portion of my trauma. I'm guessing you can see where this story's going, and you would be right. My brilliant idea was to give Kelly the story, let her read it, figure out what I was, who I was, and let the chips fall where they may. So as I'm starting to pass her this story, I say, I need you to read this story. It is about my life. And I will completely understand if you decide you would not like me to be around your child anymore. And then I sat down and let her read. See, it had nothing to do with me being a survivor. I was 36 years old, which was only 12 years ago, and I was afraid of what she'd say, what she'd think, and what she'd do. Now, today, I am not the same person anymore. Yes, I am a survivor, but I am not a survivor in hiding. I no longer carry the pain and the stain of my past, and I am not worried what others think or say if they were to find out. Without even realizing it, here standing in front of you, I have taken one more step along my healing journey. Today, as I share my story with you, I am no longer a secret. I am here with you. And really, for the first time, I am free to share my message with the world. And here's that message. We are not the acts that have happened to us. We are not the shameful, and it is not our fault. We are strong survivors, and as such, we can choose to break free from the bonds of our past. I stood beneath the shadows of my past, thinking I had no choice but to remain there, allowing those shadows, those things that happened to me, to control me. But today, I know that to be untrue, because not only have I survived, but I truly stepped free and embraced the life where I am no longer controlled by my abuse. My wish is that everyone who has suffered trauma of any kind is sparked with a possibility that they can refuse to remain bound by their past. And I hope that message has been clear today. Thank you for joining me. We'll continue exploring my healing journey in the episodes to come. If you know anyone who may benefit from my story, I would love if you could share it with them. And until we meet again, may your days be filled with love and light.